Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Raymond Barnett. I'm a father, I'm a recording artist, and this right here is a segment I like to call It's Rarely Gloomy to Everyone Else, a podcast centered around mental health, artistry, and the grim realities of perfection. So let's get into it. All right, so today I want to start by talking about some shit that's been on my mind for a while. I was working on some content with my man's Nate. Shout out, why not, Nate? So me and Nate were shooting content in the backyard over here, and shit was going smooth. Nate was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean, we was making some history, you know what I mean? And as I'm watching everything unfold, and he's showing me the shots that we were doing, I started to dislike them, because to me I felt like I didn't look the way I wanted to. My beard wasn't shaved. My hair was hella nappy. I ain't had a haircut in weeks, I think, at that time. My clothes didn't fit me that well because I just had a kid, and the dad weight was pretty fucking visible. And so and also I was just worried about the way I was looking in general, you know what I mean? And then my hand movements, I was worried about my hands, and you know what I mean? So just little dumb things that, to be honest with you, weren't really that serious. And I took a phone call afterwards. We took a little break. I took a phone call, and after my phone call, I was like, let me talk to this man right quick. So I sat there for a moment before I walked over, came over. I was like, yo, Nate, let me ask you something right quick, bro. He's like, yo, what's up? I was like, yo, am I being pretentious, bro? And he's like, well, I would say stop overthinking it. And I was like, damn. And then it dawned on me, I am a serious overthinker. I've been hearing that shit since I was a kid, since I was an adult, or when I became an adult, when I got into the music space. Just constant overthinking instead of just letting shit flow the way it was supposed to flow. You know what I mean? Even with this goddamn podcast right now, man, this is the 11th time I shot this podcast because I'm so fixated on perfection. It has to be this, it has to, my words, and I gotta make it connected, make sense, and all of this shit. And it's bro, just talk, man. Just talk, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's all you gotta do. So with that, I want to talk about overthinking. I want to talk about the fear of starting something because you're overthinking. Whether it be music, whether it be a podcast, whether it be anything, any kind of creative space that you're in. And not only that, but I want to talk about debilitating fear and repetition and getting out of your own way. So, hold on, let me get these headphones right. When it comes to overthinking, I honestly find myself drawn to the ideas of things more than the action. And I've been dealing with it for a while, like I said. So I'll think about some shit, how I want to do some shit, and I'll just run with it, right? And I'm oh, it's gotta look like this, and it's gonna be real cool, you know what I'm saying, a certain aesthetic, because I'm a heavy movie watcher, TV watcher, and I consume this shit because I'm in awe of, one, the show, if the show is really good, and also the edits. I love the editing, I love the lighting in some of the shows. I just got done watching The Idol, pretty damn good show, by the way. And so I'm hella obsessed with that shit. So when I have an idea in my mind, I see it a certain way based on whatever I've seen, as far as content goes. And I want to execute it that way. But then when we get to the point, when me and Nate shooting the content and it's not looking the way that I want it to look, because the idea in my mind didn't really happen the way that it was happening when we were shooting the shit, it'll bum me out. It'll make me want to scrap the whole thing, say, nah, this isn't it, redo it, you know what I mean? And it's super crippling because it could be dope to somebody else. Somebody might like it. I could put the shit out and somebody might actually like it. And I don't know. I feel maybe a lot of artists have dealt with the same type of things. People feel as though, oh, well, it's not perfect. All right. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple of things wrong with it. Or like, like even with music, it's like, oh, well, this ain't mixed just yet, bro. Just don't judge it just yet. It's like, bro, just let me hear the song. You know what I mean? I've done it. A couple of my friends have said it, you know what I mean, and done it. These are things that we as artists do, creatives do, because we're not that accepting of ourselves unless we step outside of ourselves. It had me thinking at one point, man, I need to be high in order to make music, or I need to be drunk to be able to make music, or like I need to watch a bunch of movies and stuff like that in order for me to like create a certain type of video edit, you know what I mean, that looks similar to the thing that I've watched, and I'm not gonna do it unless it looks like this. Or, oh, I'm not gonna record because I got a Scarlett interface instead of an Apollo twin interface, and I don't have the right DAW, so I'm not gonna, like, all of these things that we as artists and creatives fixate on because we're just not sure of ourselves sometimes, and then we're also not trusting the process sometimes. You got to trust the process sometimes, because sometimes it might not be what you wanted to be, but it might actually turn out a lot better than you thought it was. I shot some content myself, completely hated all of them, right? Threw them joints away, didn't even do shit with it. I was mad because like I was trying to have some time in the courtyard to just like be with myself, to really get into the zone, and I was freaking out and worried because like people were around and shit like that. And then when I finally got to the point where I'm like, all right, well, this ain't working because people are everywhere and I ain't getting this shit right, and you know what I'm saying, I had a certain way in my mind, and I just like said fuck it, packed up my laptop, took the shit, went outside, and then something was like, yo, go through your trash and look at those videos, because like I deleted them, but I never actually like took a second to like look at the shit. You feel me? I was overthinking it. I was like, man, this ain't really coming out the way I wanted to, and the moment ain't really right, the vibe ain't right, and I hate when people are outside, and these are things that I shouldn't honestly care about. But as I'm like sitting out here, walking with my phone in my hand, scrolling through my shit, I'm like, you know what? Let me just check my phone and go through through these deleted videos and shit. And then I'm like looking at the deleted videos, and there were actually 2 videos that were pretty decent. But I never would have known that had I like threw the trash or threw them shits in the garbage and then emptied the trash. I would have never had those videos. And one of those videos is actually a video that I'm going to be posting and shit on my IG and on my TikTok to help promote some songs and some content and shit, you know what I mean? Like, well, it's gonna help promote a song. It's a piece of content that I actually edited really well, and then all of a sudden I was like, damn, you know what? This shit actually came out pretty nice. But see, so that's my point. Like, we overthink shit so much, and I didn't even look at the videos. And had I threw them away, I probably would have had to go back, do the same shit all over again. Probably would have had another moment where there's people walking around, and I can't stand that people are walking around looking at me as I'm doing it. Again, something I shouldn't even be concerned with. And I would have shot some more videos. Probably would have ended up doing the same shit, deleting them because I couldn't really get a moment to myself, and I was nervous, and I didn't perform well in the video. And it would have just been cyclical. See, with this overthinking shit, like, that shit can happen at one moment, but then I've found that it can happen on a repeated basis. It's cyclical. You overthink one thing, you'll overthink something else. I overthink the way that I perform a song. I overthink the way that I'm recording the song. I'm overthinking my lyrics. I'm overthinking my content. I'm overthinking my editing. I'm overthinking this whole music shit in general. You see what I'm saying? Times where you're like, it'll bring you to a point where you start to overthink whether or not you should be doing this. Do you see? Like, we're so focused on perfection that we're not taking the time out to be okay. And it's not like the shit's mediocre. we're taking the time out to, we got to take the time out to be okay with what we do create, whether it be music or videos, and say, you know what, this is good. You know what I mean? This is a starting point. You can try to build on that. You can try to do more shit with that. You can try to like go out of your way and try to like execute, you know, with more emphasis maybe on the way like you're performing your song in a video, or more feeling in the song you are creating. You can try to do that. But like there comes a point where you have to stop yourself and say, okay, you've done it a few times. Stop overthinking it. You probably nailed it the first or second time. Move on. Or else you're going to find yourself not wanting to put the shit out in general. And like I said, I've definitely been one of those people that's always been overthinking a lot of the shit that I do, just because sometimes I don't feel as though it's good enough. And that's the God's honest truth. I feel as though I'm not like as great, you know what I mean? Or like I'm not like doing it the way I want to, because in my mind I had it performed a certain way. I had an ad lib set up a certain way in the song, and I didn't get to do the ad lib and, you know, the video and all of this. You got to stop it, man. So I want to talk about debilitating fear. And I feel like a lot of this shit has a lot to do with fear. You know, the fear of the unknown, the fear that we're not going to be able to make some content that's fly enough for people to want to fuck with. The fear that the song might be trash. The fear that the song might not be as good as everybody else's. The fear that we have to go up against other people in the market to be able to say, hey, look at me, stand out more. Like it's a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of like that shit will make you go crazy. That's why I said in this space for artists, there are some of us that are dealing with mental health issues and crises and shit like that, and it can make you feel like, I want to pull my hair out because this shit feel like it's so much. The fear of like just going against a market of creatives, not even against them, but like being in a pool of creatives and knowing you have to do the most to stand out, and you don't even know what the most is. You don't know if it's about your lighting. You don't know if it's about the clothes you wear, the haircut you got. You don't know if you need more sunlight in your backdrop. You don't know if you need like anything, you know? But all of these things are going to be reasons as to why you feel the fear that you do, because you feel as though, well, either I don't have it, either I don't know if I can execute it the way this person does. I'm comparing myself to them because they're doing it like this, and now I'm worried and scared that no one's gonna like it because it's not looking like this video, so I'm just not gonna do it at all. I'm gonna put it off until my brain can come up with ways to top the shit that everybody else is seeing on social media. That is so dangerous. That is 100% dangerous, because all you're doing, what you're doing is not giving yourself a shot. You're not giving yourself a chance to go out there to be seen. You're not giving yourself a chance to be heard. You're stopping yourself. And you can't do that. It's important for you to know to get out of your own way. Very, very important. Which is my next point. Your fear, your debilitating fear, and your overthinking about every single piece of content or music or whatever that you decide to put out, it's normal to feel that way. But you gotta stop. You gotta give yourself a chance. If you don't give yourself a chance, you're not allowing yourself to have a moment where you could win. Thinking so much about everything, you're getting in your own way. I learned a long time ago from my mom. This is probably like the best, most sound advice I've ever gotten. She said, I want you to know something. She said, you can be your own worst enemy if you let yourself be that. And back then I didn't understand what that shit meant. my own worst enemy. But as I got older, I started to understand that, like, maybe she's right. I started to see it differently because I started realizing that I was getting in my own way. I was stopping myself from creating music because the music wasn't, it didn't hit right, or it wasn't perfect. I was even telling my mans yesterday, I submitted my music to some review show and told me that song wasn't it. Both the songs wasn't it. And I was overthinking putting out the songs. I was gonna sell the songs to other artists because I felt as though that wasn't really my lane. People weren't really messing with it. And he's like, bro, I've known you for a while, and like, this kind of seems like it's up your alley. So there would be really no reason for you to not put out the music, because for one, you created it. You took the time out to create the shit, and you're not giving yourself a shot. You're not trying because you're in fear of what others are saying and what they will say about it. And you're getting in your own way because you're stopping yourself from putting it out just because you're worried about reception. It's not a good thing. The last thing we as artists need to do, and I'm not saying, like, I just want to be 100% clear. I'm not trying to be preachy, and I'm not a hypocrite, because yes, I do go through the same things, and I hope that you can take away something from this video. I hope that you can take away something from this podcast. I hope that it resonates with you, and that you're able to find a way to look past perfection, to step aside, step from out of your own way, and to allow yourself to make mistakes if it happens. Allow yourself to have moments where it's not 100%, it might be 80, but that 80% might go a long way. I know it's hard, and I know it's easier said than done, because I'm still working on it. But guarantee, if you decide to stop today, you have no idea how great you can be and how good you will feel once you allow yourself that leeway to go crazy without thinking so much about what you want to do, how you want to do it, and without worrying so much about what other people have to say, and telling yourself that you are no longer going to be your own obstacle. So again, my name is Raymond Barnett. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me at Raymond Barnett _ on IG. You can also follow me on TikTok, Raymond Barnett _ IG. Also on Twitter, Ray _ BARNZ. Give this a like if you're feeling it. Give me a follow if you're loving it. Subscribe. Do all of the things. And remember, the sun's always going to shine, baby. I'm Raymond Barnett. Peace.